Introduction to Business, 2nd edition, an OpenStax textbook. Read along with the full text at openstax.org. This audiobook was produced by Open Audio. Listen for free on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or on our website at openaudio.us.
Chapter 5. Entrepreneurship. Starting and managing your own business. Introduction.
Learning outcomes. After reading this chapter, you should be able to answer these questions. 1. Why do people become entrepreneurs? And what are the different types of entrepreneurs? 2. What characteristics do successful entrepreneurs share? 3. How do small businesses contribute to the U.S. economy? 4. What are the first steps to take if you are starting your own business? 5. Why does managing a small business present special challenges for the owner? 6. What are the advantages and disadvantages facing owners of small businesses? 7. How does the Small Business Administration help small businesses? 8. What trends are shaping entrepreneurship and small business ownership?
Exploring business careers. Natalie Tesler. Spa space. Natalie Tesler has always had an entrepreneurial spirit. After she graduated from New York University's law school, she began working as a tax attorney for a large firm in Chicago. But Tesler soon realized that this left her feeling unfulfilled. She didn't want to practice law, and she didn't want to work for someone else. "I wanted to wake up and be excited for my day," Tesler said. Not until one night, though, when she was having dinner with a friend who recently had begun a writing career, did she realize it was time. "I was listening to her talk about how much she loved her job, her passion and excitement. I wanted that. I wanted something that grabbed me and propelled me through the day, and being a lawyer wasn't it." She began searching for what it was. She had a tremendous passion and talent for hospitality, entertaining others, and presentation. Seeking an outlet for that flair, she found the spa industry, and the idea for Spa Space was born. "People think that, owning a spa, I'm able to live this glamorous lifestyle," she laughs. "Owning a spa is nothing like going to one. My nails always are broken from fixing equipment. My back is usually in pain from sitting hunched over a computer, trying to figure out the budget or our next marketing promotion." Tesler is a true entrepreneur, embodying the spirit and drive necessary to see her vision become a reality. Tesler wanted to design a spa that focused on something new, creating a comfortable, personalized environment of indulgence while not neglecting the medical technology of proper skincare. "My father's a dermatologist, so we discussed the importance of making this more than a spa, where you can get a frou-frou smell-good treatment that might actually harm your skin. We both thought it was important to create an experience that is as beneficial for people's skin as it is for their emotional well-being. To address this need, Spa Space has a medical advisory board that helps with product selection, treatment design, and staff training." Armed with a vision and a plan, Tesler turned her sights toward making it a reality. Spa Space opened in 2001 and has received a great deal of national recognition for its service excellence, unique treatments and products, and its fresh approach to appealing to all genders. But it hasn't always been smooth sailing for Spa Space. Tesler had to steer the business through several obstacles, including the 9/11 tragedy just 3 months after the spa's grand opening, and then the Great Recession. Tesler learned to adapt her strategy by refining her target market and the services Spa Space offered. Her resiliency enabled the company to not only survive difficult economic periods, but to thrive and grow into what has been recognized as Chicago's best spa. Tesler eventually turned the reins over to Ilana Alberico, another entrepreneur and founder of Innovative Spa Management, a company that was twice named on Inc. magazine's list of fastest-growing companies. When Alberico met Natalie Tesler and learned about her vision, she was inspired to invest in Spa Space. Natalie's vision still resonates. I'm inspired to champion her vision into the future. Today, the companies operate under Arch Amenities Group.
Typical of many who catch the entrepreneurial bug, Natalie Tesler had a vision and pursued it single-mindedly. She is just one of thousands of entrepreneurs from all age groups and backgrounds. Even kids are starting businesses in high-tech firms. College graduates are shunning the corporate world to head out on their own. Downsized employees, mid-career executives, and retirees who have worked for others all their lives are forming the companies they have always wanted to own. Companies started by entrepreneurs and small business owners make significant contributions to the US and global economies. Hotbeds of innovation. These small businesses take leadership roles in technological change and the development of new goods and services. Just how important are small businesses to our economy? Table 5.1 provides insight into the role of small business in today's economy. You may be one of the millions of people who are considering joining the ranks of business owners. As you read this chapter, you'll learn why entrepreneurship continues to be a popular area of business activity. Then you'll get the information and tools you need to help you decide whether owning your own company is the right career path for you. Next, you'll discover what characteristics you'll need to become a successful entrepreneur. Then we'll look at the importance of small businesses in the economy, guidelines for starting and managing a small business, the many reasons small businesses continue to thrive in the United States, and the role of the Small Business Administration. Finally, the chapter explores the trends that shape entrepreneurship and small business ownership today.
Five point one. Entrepreneurship Today. Learning objective. Why do people become entrepreneurs? And what are the different types of entrepreneurs?
Brothers Fernando and Santiago Aguirre exhibited entrepreneurial tendencies at an early age. At 8 and 9 years old, respectively, they sold strawberries and radishes from a vacant lot near their parents' home in Plata del Mar on the Atlantic coast of Argentina. At 11 and 12, they provided a surfboard repair service from their garage. As teenagers, Fer and Santi, as they call each other, opened Argentina's first surf shop, which led to their most ambitious entrepreneurial venture of all. The flat-footed brothers found that traipsing across hot sand in flip-flops was uncomfortable. So in 1984, they sank their $4,000 savings into manufacturing their own line of beach sandals. Now offering sandals and footwear for adults and children, as well as clothing for men, Reef sandals remain a popular beach footwear, with a presence in nearly every surf shop in the United States.
Table 5.1, the economic impact of small business. There are over 36 million small businesses in the United States. Over 470,000 new businesses are formed each month. California, Texas, and Florida have the highest number of small businesses. Over 99% of all businesses in the United States are small businesses. Small businesses contribute over 43% of the U.S. GDP. Small businesses account for nearly 50% of private sector employment. Small businesses create 9 out of every 10 jobs, representing 88.9% of net job creation. Small businesses account for 33% of total exports. About 40% of small businesses carry debt over $100,000. Nearly 30 million sole proprietorships exist in the United States. There are over 1 million woman-owned businesses in the United States.
Catching the entrepreneurial spirit. Young entrepreneur living the dream. Jack Bonneau is the quintessential entrepreneur. In his first 3 years in business, he expanded his product line, opened multiple locations, established strategic partnerships, and secured sponsorship from several national brands. His business has garnered publicity from the New York Times, the Denver Post, the Today Show, Good Morning America, and numerous other media. He has shared his business success on several stages, speaking at Techstars and the Aspen Ideas Festival, and delivering the closing keynote speech at a national STEM conference. He even landed a gig on Shark Tank, and he achieved all of this by age 11. Jack Bonneau is smart, charismatic, an excellent spokesperson, and persistent in his mission. And today he is under 20 years old. which makes his accomplishments even that much more impressive given his age. Jack's business was born from a need that most kids have, a desire for toys. He asked his dad, Steve Bono, for a Lego Star Wars Death Star. The problem was that it cost $400. Jack's dad said he could have it, but only if he paid for it himself. This led Jack to do what a lot of kids do to earn some extra cash. He opened a lemonade stand, but he quickly learned that this would never help him realize his dream. So, with the advice and help of his father, he decided to open a lemonade stand at a local farmer's market. There were lots of people who wanted to buy great lemonade from an 8-year-old, says Jack. In no time, Jack had earned enough to buy his Lego Death Star. I had sales of around $2,000 and my total profit was $900, Jack said. Jack realized that he was onto something. Adults love to buy things from cute kids. What if he could make even more money by opening more locations? Jack developed an expansion plan to open 3 new Jack stands the following spring. Realizing that he would need more working capital, he secured a $5,000 loan from Young America's Bank, a bank in Denver that specializes in loans to children. Jack made $25,000 in 2015. The following year, Jack wanted to expand operations, so he secured a second loan for $12,000. He opened stands in several more locations, including shopping malls during the holiday season, selling apple cider and hot chocolate instead of lemonade. He also added additional shop space and recruited other young entrepreneurial kids to sell their products in his space, changing the name to Jack's Stands and Marketplace. One of his first partnerships was Sweet Bee Sisters, a lip balm and lotion company founded by Lily, Chloe, and Sophie Warren. He also worked with 18 other young entrepreneurs, selling a range of products from organic dog treats to scarves and headbands. Jack's strategy worked, and the business brought in more than $100,000 in 2017. In 2018, he became the spokesperson for Santa Cruz Organic Lemonade and began looking at expanding into other cities such as Detroit and New Orleans. In 2023, Jack's continued accomplishments were honored when he was named one of 25 Prudential Emerging Visionaries for that year, owing to his ongoing support of teen entrepreneurship, including his ventures through his Teen Hustle company. That same year, he began his college education. Even though Jack is a young adult, he has already become skilled in financial literacy, customer service, marketing and sales, social skills, and other sound business practices, all the qualities of a successful entrepreneur. Critical thinking questions. What do you think enabled Jack Bono to start and grow a successful business at such a young age? What personal characteristics and values has Jack needed to continue running his business while also attending school full-time?
Christy Glass-Lowe, who monitors surf apparel for USBX Advisory Services LLC, notes, Reef built a brand from nothing, and now they're the dominant market share leader. The Aguirres, who currently live 2 blocks from each other in La Jolla, California, sold Reef to VF Corporation for more than $100 million in 2005. In selling Reef, we finally found our freedom, Fernando says. We traded money for time, adds Santiago. Fernando remains active with surfing organizations, serving as president of the International Surfing Association, where he became known as Ambassador of the Wave for his efforts in getting all 90 worldwide members of the International Olympic Committee to unanimously vote in favor of including surfing in the 2020 Olympic Games. He has also been named Waterman of the Year by the Surf Industry Manufacturers Association. Santi was heavily involved in expanding and raising funds for SurfAid, but retired from serving on the board over a decade ago. Both siblings are enjoying contributing to an industry that has served them so well. The United States is blessed with a wealth of entrepreneurs, such as the Aguirres, who want to start a small business. According to research by the Small Business Administration, 2/3 of college students intend to be entrepreneurs at some point in their careers, aspiring to become the next Bill Gates or Roxanne Quimby, founder of Burt's Bees. But before you put out any money or expend energy and time, you'd be wise to check out Table 5.2 for some preliminary advice. The desire to be one's own boss cuts across all age, gender, and ethnic lines. Data of new business startups and ownership show that minority groups and women are becoming business owners at a much higher rate than the national average. Table 5.3 illustrates these minority-owned business demographics. Why has entrepreneurship remained such a strong part of the foundation of the US business system for so many years. Because today's global economy rewards innovative, flexible companies that can respond quickly to changes in the business environment. Such companies are started by entrepreneurs, people with vision, drive, and creativity, who are willing to take the risk of starting and managing a business to make a profit.
Table 5.2. Are you ready to be an entrepreneur? Here are some questions would-be entrepreneurs should ask themselves. 1. What is new and novel about your idea? Are you solving a problem or unmet need? 2. Are there similar products or services out there? If so, what makes yours better? 3. Who is your target market? How many people would use your product or service? 4. Have you talked with potential customers to get their feedback? Would they buy your product or service? 5. What about production costs? How much do you think the market will pay? 6. How defensible is the concept? Is there good intellectual property? 7. Is this innovation strategic to my business? 8. Is there a clear marketing message to communicate? 9. How might this product evolve over time? Would it be possible to expand it into a product line? Can it be updated, enhanced in future versions? 10. Where would someone buy this product or service? 11. How will the product or service be marketed? What are the costs to sell and market it? 12. What are the challenges involved in developing this product or service?
Table 5.3. Statistics for minority-owned businesses. Over 1 million firms are minority-owned, with over 650,000 Asian American-owned and over 450,000 Hispanic-owned. There are nearly 200,000 African American-owned U.S. businesses. About 22% of all companies with employees are owned by women. Approximately 7% of all businesses in the U.S. are Hispanic-owned.
Entrepreneur or small business owner. The term entrepreneur is often used in a broad sense to include most small business owners. The two groups share some of the same characteristics, and we'll see that some of the reasons for becoming an entrepreneur or a small business owner are very similar. But there is a difference between entrepreneurship and small business management. Entrepreneurship involves taking a risk either to create a new business or to greatly change the scope and direction of an existing one. Entrepreneurs typically are innovators who start companies to pursue their ideas for a new product or service. They are visionaries who spot opportunities. Although entrepreneurs may be small business owners, not all small business owners are entrepreneurs. Small business owners are managers or people with technical expertise who started a business or bought an existing business and made a conscious decision to stay small. For example, the proprietor of your local market is a small business owner. Allison Ellsworth, co-founder of Poppy, also sells items found in this market and other food-related retailers. But Ellsworth is an entrepreneur. She developed a new soda brand that has taken off and has found its place on the shelves of many major retailers. Entrepreneurs are less likely to accept the status quo, and they generally take a longer-term view than the small business owner. Types of entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs fall into several categories: classic entrepreneurs, multipreneurs, and intrapreneurs. Classic entrepreneurs. Classic entrepreneurs are risk takers who start their own companies based on innovative ideas. Some classic entrepreneurs are micropreneurs who start small and plan to stay small. They often start businesses just for personal satisfaction and the lifestyle. Miho Inagi is a good example of a micropreneur. On a visit to New York with college friends in 1998, Inagi fell in love with the city's bagels. "I just didn't think anything like a bagel could taste so good," she said. Her passion for bagels led the young office assistant to quit her job and pursue her dream of one day opening her own bagel shop in Tokyo. Although her parents tried to talk her out of it, and bagels were virtually unknown in Japan. Nothing deterred her. Other trips to New York followed, including an unpaid 6-month apprenticeship at Essa Bagel, where Inagi took orders, cleared trays, and swept floors. On weekends, founder and former owner Florence Wilpon let her make dough. In August 2004, using $20,000 of her own savings and a $30,000 loan from her parents, Inagi finally opened Tiny Marucci Bagel. The timing was fortuitous, as Japan was about to experience a bagel boom. After a slow start, a favorable review on a local bagel website brought customers flocking for what are considered the best bagels in Tokyo. Initially, Inagi earned about the same amount she was making as a company employee. Before I opened this store, I had no goals, she says, but now I feel so satisfied. In contrast, growth-oriented entrepreneurs want their business to grow into a major corporation. Most high-tech companies are formed by growth-oriented entrepreneurs. Allison Ellsworth, after experiencing multiple health issues, found a solution that worked for her: apple cider vinegar. In her kitchen, she combined the ingredient with various flavors in an attempt to make it more palatable. This provided the launching point for Poppy. After gaining support with a Shark Tank deal, Ellsworth's vision of creating a healthier alternative to traditional sodas came to life. Now, part of PepsiCo, Poppy can be found in retailers nationwide. Ellsworth stated, "Pepsi gives us reach. We're in 50,000 stores, and they can put us in 350,000 stores." Multipreneurs. Then there are multipreneurs, entrepreneurs who start a series of companies. They thrive on the challenge of building a business and watching it grow. In fact, over half of the chief executives at Inc. 500 companies say they would start another company if they sold their current one. Brothers Jeff and Rich Sloan are a good example of multipreneurs, having turned numerous improbable ideas into successful companies. Over the past 20 plus years, they have renovated houses, owned a horse breeding and marketing business, invented a device to prevent car batteries from dying, and so on. The brothers launched Startup Nation, a multimedia company that helps individuals realize their entrepreneurial dreams. Rich continues these efforts in his role as entrepreneur in residence at UNLV by helping university faculty commercialize their research. Jeff has since launched Sportscaster.com, which is a platform for fans to create and share sports-related content through broadcasts, podcasts, and video. The brothers continue to look for new opportunities to continue their entrepreneurial legacy. Entrepreneurs. Some entrepreneurs don't own their own companies, but apply their creativity, vision, and risk-taking within a large corporation. Called entrepreneurs, these employees enjoy the freedom to nurture their ideas and develop new products, while their employers provide regular salaries and financial backing. Entrepreneurs have a high degree of autonomy to run their own mini-companies within the larger enterprise. They share many of the same personality traits as classic entrepreneurs, but they take less personal risk. According to Gifford Pinchot, who coined the term entrepreneur in his book of the same name, large companies provide seed funds that finance in-house entrepreneurial efforts. These include Intel, IBM, Texas Instruments, a pioneering entrepreneurial company, Salesforce.com, 3M, and Procter & Gamble. Why? Become an entrepreneur. As the examples in this chapter show, entrepreneurs are found in all industries and have different motives for starting companies. The most common reason cited by entrepreneurs, as reported by Shopify, is turning a passion into a financial gain, followed by the desire to control their own destiny when it comes to job security. Two important motives mentioned in other surveys are a feeling of personal satisfaction with their work and creating the lifestyle that they want. Do entrepreneurs feel that going into business for themselves was worth it? The answer is a resounding yes. Most say they would do it again.
Concept check. 1. Describe several types of entrepreneurs. 2. What differentiates an entrepreneur from a small business owner? 3. What are some major factors that motivate entrepreneurs to start businesses?
5.2 Characteristics of successful entrepreneurs. Learning objective. What characteristics do successful entrepreneurs share?
Do you have what it takes to become an entrepreneur? Having a great concept is not enough. An entrepreneur must be able to develop and manage the company that implements their idea. Being an entrepreneur requires special drive, perseverance, passion, and a spirit of adventure, in addition to managerial and technical ability. Entrepreneurs are the company. They tend to work longer hours, take fewer vacations, and cannot leave problems at the office at the end of the day. They also share other common characteristics, as will be discussed. The entrepreneurial personality. Studies of the entrepreneurial personality find that entrepreneurs share certain key traits. Most entrepreneurs are
Ambitious. They are competitive and have a high need for achievement.
Independent. They are individualists and self-starters who prefer to lead rather than follow.
self-confident. They understand the challenges of starting and operating a business and are decisive and confident in their ability to solve problems.
Risk takers. Although they are not averse to risk, most successful entrepreneurs favor business opportunities that carry a moderate degree of risk, where they can better control the outcome over highly risky ventures where luck plays a large role.
Visionary. Their ability to spot trends and act on them sets entrepreneurs apart from small business owners and managers.
Creative. To compete with larger firms, entrepreneurs need to have creative product designs, bold marketing strategies, and innovative solutions to managerial problems.
Energetic. Starting and operating a business takes long hours. Even so, some entrepreneurs start their companies while still employed full-time elsewhere.
Passionate. Entrepreneurs love their work, as Miho Inagi demonstrated by opening a bagel shop in Tokyo despite the odds against it being a success.
Committed. Because they are so committed to their companies, entrepreneurs are willing to make personal sacrifices to achieve their goals.
Customer satisfaction and quality. Ethical choices transform family business into international brand. Ever since Apollonia Poilon was a young child growing up in Paris, she always knew what she wanted to do when she grew up: take over the family business. But she didn't anticipate how quickly this would happen. When her father, Lionel Poilon, and her mother died in a helicopter crash in 2002, France lost its most celebrated baker, and Apollonia stepped into the role. She was just 18 years old at the time, with plans to matriculate to Harvard in the fall, but the moment her parents had prepared her for had come. As her Harvard admissions essay said, "The work of several generations is at stake." With organization and determination, Apollonia managed one of the best French bakeries in the world, based in Paris, from her apartment in Cambridge, Massachusetts. She would usually wake up an extra 2 hours before classes to make sure she would get all the phone calls done for work. When asked how she managed all of this, she explained, "After classes, I check on any business regarding the company and then do my homework. And before I go to bed, I call my production manager in Paris to check the quality of the bread." Because the name Poilon has earned a place with a very small group of prestige bakers, the 18-year-old was determined to continue the tradition of customer satisfaction and quality her grandfather established in 1932. When her grandfather suffered a stroke in 1973, his 28-year-old son, Lionel, poured his heart into the business and made the family bread into the global brand it is today. Lionel opened 2 more bakeries in Paris and another in London. He developed and nurtured a worldwide network of retailers and celebrities where bread is shipped daily to upscale restaurants and wealthy clients around the world. Experimenting with sourdough is what distinguished Poilon's products from bread produced by Paris's other bakers, and it has remained the company's signature product. It is baked with a pea carved into the crust, a throwback to the days when the use of communal ovens forced bakers to identify their loaves, and it also ensures that the loaf doesn't burst while it's baking. Today, Poilon also sells croissants, pastries, and a few specialty breads, but the company's signature item is still the 4-pound miche, a wheel of sourdough, a country bread, pain Poilon. Apollonia's passion is evident. She believes in the work her father started, and is committed to continuing this legacy by leading the company into the future. Apollonia's work ethic and passion fueled her drive even when she was a student. Each day presented a juggling act of new problems to solve in Paris while other Harvard students slept. As Apollonia told a student reporter from the Harvard Crimson, writing a story about her, "The 1 or 2 hours you spend procrastinating, I spend working. It's nothing demanding at all. It was always my dream to run the company." Her dedication paid off, and Apollonia retained control of important decisions, strategy, and business goals, describing herself as the commander of the ship, determining the company's overall direction. Today, Poilâne is a $12 million business employing approximately 140 people. The company operates 5 retail bakeries in Paris and 1 in London, along with a robust wholesale business. They ship internationally to clients throughout Europe, North America, and Asia, including the United States, Japan, Hong Kong, and Singapore. Critical thinking questions. 1. What type of entrepreneur is Apollonia Poilâne? 2. What personal ethics drove Apollonia's decision to take over the family business?
Most entrepreneurs combine many of the above characteristics. Mara Leide and Naomi Hirabayashi identified a need to make mental health wellness more accessible to younger individuals. They envisioned an online platform that would incorporate daily motivational quotes, meditations, and other support. This was contrary to traditional approaches to mental well-being. They were persistent, understood the market, and focused on ways to differentiate their approach to reach a new audience. In another example, Sarah Blakely launched Spanx when a personal style dilemma prompted the need for a solution. Sarah felt that if she had a need for smoothing undergarments, there were others with the same need. It's really important to be resourceful and scrappy. A glass half full mindset, she has said. Blakely embodies many of the characteristics discussed and has turned Spanx into a household name. Managerial ability and technical knowledge. A person with all the characteristics of an entrepreneur might still lack the necessary business skills to run a successful company. Entrepreneurs need the technical knowledge to carry out their ideas and the managerial ability to organize a company, develop operating strategies, obtain financing, and supervise day-to-day activities. Jim Crane, who built Eagle Global Logistics from a startup into a $250 million company, addressed a group at a meeting saying, "I have never run a $250 million company before, so you guys are going to have to start running this business." Good interpersonal and communication skills are important in dealing with employees, customers, and other business associates, such as bankers, accountants, and attorneys. As we will discuss later in the chapter, entrepreneurs believe they can learn these much-needed skills. When Jim Steiner, now manager of Mountain Pacific Enterprises, started his toner cartridge remanufacturing business, Quality Imaging Products, his initial investment was $400. He spent $200 on a consultant to teach him the business, and $200 on materials to rebuild his first printer cartridges. He made sales calls from 8 a.m. to noon and made deliveries to customers from noon until 5 p.m. After a quick dinner, he moved to the garage where he filled copier cartridges until midnight, when he collapsed into bed, sometimes covered with carbon soot. And this was not something he did for a couple of months until he got the business off the ground. This was his life for 18 months. But entrepreneurs usually soon learn that they can't do it all themselves. Often, they choose to focus on what they do best and hire others to do the rest.
Concept check. 1. Describe the personality traits and skills characteristic of successful entrepreneurs. 2. What does it mean when we say that an entrepreneur should work on the business, not in it?
Five point three. Small business, driving America's growth. Learning objective. How do small businesses contribute to the U.S. economy?
Although large corporations dominated the business scene for many decades, in recent years, small businesses have once again come to the forefront. Downsizings that accompany economic downturns have caused many people to look toward smaller companies for employment, and they have plenty to choose from. Small businesses play an important role in the U.S. economy, representing over 40% of U.S. GDP and employing nearly 50% of the private sector workforce. What is a small business? How many small businesses are there in the United States? Estimates range from 5 million to nearly 40 million, depending on the size limits government agencies and other groups use to define a small business, or the number of businesses with or without employees. The Small Business Administration, SBA, established size standards to define whether a business entity is small and therefore eligible for government programs and preferences that are reserved for small businesses. Size standards are based on the types of economic activity or industry, generally matched to the North American Industry Classification System. Small businesses are defined in many ways. Statistics for small businesses vary based on criteria, such as new/startup businesses, the number of employees, total revenue, length of time in business, non-employees, businesses with employees, geographic location, and so on. Due to the complexity and need for consistent statistics and reporting for small businesses, several organizations are now working together to combine comprehensive data sources to get a clear and accurate picture of small businesses in the United States. Table 5.4 provides a more detailed look at small business owners.
Table 5.4. Snapshot of small business owners. Business creation and ownership has been on the rise since 2014 and continues to grow at a faster pace than ever before. Startup activity has been on a steady rise since 2021, reaching over 20% in 2025. Nearly half of business owners start their business to fill a gap or solve a problem rather than out of necessity. There are nearly 40,000 small businesses that are making between $1 million and $2.5 million per year. 20% of businesses do not make it through their first year, with only half making it to their fifth year of operation. Only about 1/3 of businesses remain in business longer than a decade.
One of the best sources to track U.S. entrepreneurial growth activity is the Ewing Marion Kauffman Foundation. The Kauffman Foundation is among the largest private foundations in the country, with an asset base of approximately $2 billion, and focuses on projects that encourage entrepreneurship and support education through grants and research activities. In 2025, they initiated a 3-year distribution of over $30 million in grants. The Kauffman Foundation supports new business creation in the United States through 2 research programs. The annual Kauffman Indicators of Entrepreneurship measures and interprets indicators of U.S. entrepreneurial activity at the national, state, and metropolitan level. The Kauffman Indicators of Entrepreneurship annual reporting measures how people and businesses contribute to America's overall economy. What is unique about the Kauffman reports is that the indexes don't focus on only inputs, as most small business reporting has been done in the past. It reports primarily on entrepreneurial outputs, the actual results of entrepreneurial activity, such as new companies, business density, and growth rates. The Kauffman Indicators of Entrepreneurship include comprehensive interactive data visualizations that enable users to explore entrepreneurial trends nationally and at the state level. The Kauffman Indicators of Entrepreneurship consists of 3 separate indicator series: Early Stage Entrepreneurship Indicators, New Employer Business Indicators, and Entrepreneurial Jobs Indicators. The Kauffman Early Stage Entrepreneurship Series focuses on new business creation activity and people engaging in business startup activities using the following components: rate of new entrepreneurs, opportunity share of new entrepreneurs, startup early job creation, and startup early survival rate. The New Business Employer Series compiles data about trends in new employer businesses and the impact on overall payroll in the United States. The components in the series include rate of new employer business actualization, rate of new employer businesses, new employer business velocity, and employer business newness. The Kauffman Indicator Entrepreneurial Job Series provides information about the types and quantities of private sector jobs with comparisons among industries and geographic regions. The components included are contribution, compensation, creation, and constancy. Data sources for the Kaufman Indicators of Entrepreneurship calculations include the Current Population Survey, CPS, Bureau of Labor Statistics, Business Employment Dynamics, BED, Business Formation Statistics, BFS, Business Dynamics Statistics, BDS, and Longitudinal Employer Household Dynamics, LEHD. Small businesses in the United States can be found in almost every industry, including services, retail, construction, wholesale, manufacturing, finance, and insurance, agriculture and mining, transportation, and warehousing. Typically, small businesses are defined as companies that have fewer than 500 employees, but that can vary based on industry and specific standards established by the Office of Advocacy. Table 5.5 provides the breakdown of small business by the number of employees.
Concept check. 1. What are 3 ways small businesses can be defined? 2. What social and economic factors have prompted the rise in small business?
Five 5.4. Ready, set, start your own business. Learning objective. What are the first steps to take if you are starting your own business?
You have decided that you'd like to go into business for yourself. What is the best way to go about it? Start from scratch, buy an existing business, or buy a franchise. About 60% of businesses created are brand new organizations, with the remaining either buying an existing company or starting a franchise. Franchising may have been discussed elsewhere in your course, so we'll cover the other 2 options in this section. Getting started. The first step in starting your own business is a self-assessment to determine whether you have the personal traits you need to succeed, and if so, what type of business would be best for you. Table 5.6 provides a checklist to consider before starting your business. Finding the idea. Entrepreneurs get ideas for their businesses from many sources. It is not surprising that about 80% of Inc. 500 executives got the idea for their company while working in the same or a related industry. Starting a firm in a field where you have experience improves your chances of success. Other sources of inspiration are personal experiences as a consumer, hobbies and personal interests, suggestions from customers, family and friends, industry conferences, and college courses or other education.
Table 5.6. Business Launch Action Steps. Before you start your own small business, find the idea. Consider your personal skills, reasoning for starting the business, and your experience. Conduct market research and determine the market niche your business will fill. Choose a form of business organization. Plan the startup by writing a business plan. Determine how to fund the business. Prepare to launch.
An excellent way to keep up with small business trends is by staying on top of information from small business and entrepreneurship news sites and resources, with articles on everything from idea generation to selling a business. They provide an invaluable resource and profile some of the entrepreneurs and their successful business ventures.
Table 5.7. Successful entrepreneurs. In the following table, we highlight examples of successful entrepreneurs and describe the products or services provided by their companies.
Philip Kimmy. Kimmy's dog sitting and dog walking network, Rover.com, raised over $310 million in venture capital funding. The company went public via SPAC in 2021 and was acquired by Blackstone for $2.3 billion in February 2024.
Alexandra Kristen White. White founded Glam Seamless, which sells tape-in hair extensions. Starting with $1,500 in 2012, her self-funded company grossed $2.5 million by 2016. She sold the company to Beauty Industry Group in 2019 and exited as CEO in 2023. She now focuses on her size-inclusive activewear brand Tribe 35 and other ventures.
Alan Gannett. Gannett founded Track Maven, a web marketing analytics company, in 2012. By 2016, his company was grossing $6.7 million a year. In October 2018, Track Maven merged with Skyward to form a leading content marketing platform. Gannett served as Chief Strategy Officer and is now an active angel investor and author of The Creative Curve.
Jake Kasson and Kramer LaPlante. Kasson and Kramer launched their company, MVMT, through Indiegogo in 2013, raising $290,000. By 2016, they were grossing $60 million, selling primarily watches and sunglasses. In 2018, they sold the bootstrapped company to Movado Group for $100 million upfront, up to $200 million total. Jake Kasson is now an active angel investor.
Natalia Bailey and Louis Perna. Action Systems began in 2014 and raised $10 million in early venture funding. By 2016, it grossed $4.5 million. The company went on to raise a total of $71.6 million, including a $42 million Series C in 2021 that valued the company at $83.5 million. Action now operates as Revolution Space, continuing to develop advanced space propulsion systems.
Jesse Dover. Dover, along with co-founders Melissa Mash and Deepa Gandhi, founded Dangdaver in 2013, making storage-efficient handbags for professional women. The company grossed $4.5 million in 2016 and debuted on Nordstrom.com in 2017. By 2024, the bootstrapped company reached a $100 million revenue run rate with nearly 10% EBITDA margins and won Founder of the Year at the 2023 Modern Retail Awards.
These dynamic individuals, who are already so successful in their 20s and 30s, came up with unique ideas and concepts and found the right niche for their businesses. Interesting ideas are all around you. Many successful businesses get started because someone identifies a need and then finds a way to fill it. Do you have a problem that you need to solve? Or a product that doesn't work as well as you'd like? Raising questions about the way things are done and seeing opportunity in adversity are great ways to generate ideas. Choosing a form of business organization. A key decision for a person starting a new business is whether it will be a sole proprietorship, partnership, corporation, or limited liability company. As discussed earlier, each type of business organization has advantages and disadvantages. The choice depends on the type of business, number of employees, capital requirements, tax considerations, and level of risk involved. Developing the business plan. Once you have the basic concept for a product or service, you must develop a plan to create the business. This planning process, culminating in a sound business plan, is one of the most important steps in starting a business. It can help to attract appropriate loan financing, minimize the risks involved, and be a critical determinant in whether a firm succeeds or fails. Many people do not venture out on their own because they are overwhelmed with doubts and concerns. A comprehensive business plan lets you run various what-if analyses and evaluate your business without any financial outlay or risk. You can also develop strategies to overcome problems well before starting the business. Taking the time to develop a good business plan pays off. A venture that seems sound at the idea stage may not look so good on paper. A well-prepared, comprehensive, written business plan forces entrepreneurs to take an objective and critical look at their business venture and analyze their concept carefully. Make decisions about marketing, sales, operations, production, staffing, budgeting, and financing, and set goals that will help them manage and monitor its growth and performance. The business plan also serves as the initial operating plan for the business. Writing a good business plan takes time, but many business people neglect this critical planning tool in their eagerness to begin doing business, getting caught up in the day-to-day operations instead. The key features of a business plan are a general description of the company, the qualifications of the owners, a description of the products or services, an analysis of the market, demand, customers, competition, sales and distribution channels, and a financial plan. The sections should work together to demonstrate why the business will be successful, while focusing on the uniqueness of the business and why it will attract customers. Table 5.8 describes the essential elements of a business plan. A common use of a business plan is to persuade lenders and investors to finance the venture. The detailed information in the plan helps them assess whether to invest. Even though a business plan may take months to write, it must capture potential investors' interest within minutes. For that reason, the basic business plan should be written with a particular reader in mind. Then you can fine-tune and tailor it to fit the investment goals of the investors you plan to approach.
Table 5.8 Key Elements of a Business Plan. Executive Summary provides an overview of the total business plan. Written after the other sections are completed, it highlights significant points and, ideally, creates enough excitement to motivate the reader to continue reading.
Vision and mission statement. Concisely describe the intended strategy and business philosophy for making the vision happen. Company values can also be included in this section.
Company overview explains the type of company, such as manufacturing, retail, or service, provides background information on the company if it already exists, and describes the proposed form of organization. This section should include company name and location, company objectives, nature and primary product or service of the business, current status, startup, buyout, or expansion, and history, if applicable, and legal form of organization, sole proprietorship, partnership, or corporation.
Product and or service plan describes the product and or service and points out any unique features as well as explains why people will buy the product or service. This section should offer the following descriptions: product and or service, features and benefits of the product or service that provide a competitive advantage, available legal protection, patents, copyrights, and trademarks.
Marketing plan shows who the firm's customers will be and what type of competition it will face, outlines the marketing strategy, and specifies the firm's competitive edge, and describes the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of the business. This section should offer the following descriptions: analysis of target market and profile of target customer, methods of identifying, attracting, and retaining customers, a concise description of the value proposition, selling approach, type of sales force and distribution channels, types of marketing and sales promotions, advertising, and projected marketing budget, product and or service pricing strategy, and credit and pricing policies.
Management plan identifies the key players, active investors, management team, board members, and advisors, citing the experience and competence they possess. This section should offer the following descriptions: management team, outside investors and or directors and their qualifications, outside resource people and their qualifications, and plans for recruiting and training employees.
Operating plan explains the type of manufacturing or operating system to be used and describes the facilities, labor, raw materials, and product processing requirements. This section should offer the following descriptions: operating or manufacturing methods, operating facilities, location, space, and equipment, quality control methods, procedures to control inventory and operations, sources of supply, and purchasing procedures.
Financial plan specifies financial needs and contemplated sources of financing, as well as presents projections of revenues, costs, and profits. This section should offer the following descriptions: historical financial statements for the last 3 to 5 years, or as available, projected financial statements for 3 to 5 years, including income statements, balance sheets, cash flow statements, and cash budgets, monthly for first year and quarterly for second year, financial assumptions, break-even analysis of profits and cash flows, and planned sources of financing.
Appendix of supporting documents provides materials supplementary to the plan. This section should offer the following descriptions: management team biographies, the company's values, information about the company culture, if it's unique and contributes to employee retention, and any other important data that support the information in the business plan, such as detailed competitive analysis, customer testimonials, and research summaries.
But don't think you can set aside your business plan once you obtain financing and begin operating your company. Entrepreneurs who think their business plan is only for raising money make a big mistake. Business plans should be dynamic documents, reviewed and updated on a regular basis, monthly, quarterly, or annually, depending on how the business progresses, and the particular industry changes. Owners should adjust their sales and profit projections up or down as they analyze their markets and operating results. Reviewing your plan on a routine basis will help you identify strengths and weaknesses in your marketing and management strategies, and help you evaluate possible opportunities for expansion in light of both your original mission and goals, current market trends, and business results. The Small Business Administration, SBA, offers sample business plans and online guidance for business plan preparation under the Business Guide tab at www.sba.gov. Financing the business. Once the business plan is complete, the next step is to obtain financing to set up your company. The funding required depends on the type of business and the entrepreneur's own investment. Businesses started by lifestyle entrepreneurs require less financing than growth-oriented businesses, and manufacturing and high-tech companies generally require a large initial investment. Who provides startup funding for small companies? Like Miho Inagi and her Tokyo Bagel Shop, nearly 80% of business owners raise startup funds from personal savings. Personal assets and money from family and friends are important for new firms, whereas funding from financial institutions may become more important as companies grow. About 1/3 of companies are launched on less than $10,000. The two forms of business financing are debt, borrowed funds that must be repaid with interest over a stated time period, and equity, funds raised through the sale of stock, that is, ownership, in the business. Those who provide equity funds get a share of the business's profits. Limits are placed by lenders on the amount that can be borrowed. As such, some entrepreneurs may choose to use equity financing to assist with their funding needs. For example, in exchange for giving you $5,000 towards startup expenses, you could offer your family member a percentage of the profits earned at the end of the year. Corporations regularly use equity financing, selling shares of stock, to raise capital, but that is often after the business is established. One way to finance a startup company is bootstrapping, which is basically funding the operation with your own resources. If the resources needed are not available to an individual, there are other options. Two sources of equity financing for young companies are angel investors and venture capital firms. Angel investors are individual investors or groups of experienced investors who provide financing for startup businesses by investing their own money, often referred to as seed capital. This gives the investors more flexibility on what they can and will invest in. But because it is their own money, angels are careful. Angel investors often invest early in a company's development, and they want to see an idea they understand and can have confidence in. Table 5.9 offers some guidelines on how to attract angel financing.
Table 5.9. Presenting to investors. You need financing for your startup business. How do you get individuals interested in investing in your business venture? Show them something they understand, ideally a business from an industry they've been associated with. Know your business details. Information important to potential investors includes annual sales, gross profit, profit margin, and expenses. Be able to describe your business, what it does and who it sells to, in less than a minute. Limit presentations to 10 slides. Angels can always leave their money in the bank, so an investment must interest them. It should be something they're passionate about. And timing is important. Knowing when to reach out to an angel can make a huge difference. They need to see management they trust, respect, and like. Present a competent management team with a strong, experienced leader who can explain the business and answer questions from potential investors with specifics. Angels prefer something they can bring added value to. Those who invest could be involved with your company for a long time, or perhaps take a seat on your board of directors. They are more partial to deals that don't require huge sums of money or additional infusions of angel cash. Emphasize the likely exits for investors and know who the competition is, why your solution is better, and how you are going to gain market share with an infusion of cash.
Venture capital is financing obtained from venture capitalists, investment firms that specialize in financing small, high-growth companies. Venture capitalists receive an ownership interest and a voice in management in return for their money. They typically invest at a later stage than angel investors. Buying a small business. Another route to small business ownership is buying an existing business. Although this approach is less risky, many of the same steps for starting a business from scratch apply to buying an existing company. It still requires careful and thorough analysis. The potential buyer must answer several important questions. Why is the owner selling? Do they want to retire or move on to a new challenge? Or are there problems with the business? Is the business operating at a profit? If not, can this be corrected? On what basis has the owner valued the company, and is it a fair price? What are the owner's plans after selling the company? Will they be available to provide assistance through the change of ownership of the business? And depending on the type of business it is, will customers be more loyal to the owner than to the product or service being offered? Customers could leave the firm if the current owner decides to open a similar business. To protect against this, many purchasers include a non-compete clause in the contract of sale, which generally means that the owner of the company being sold may not be allowed to compete in the same industry of the acquired business for a specific amount of time. You should prepare a business plan that thoroughly analyzes all aspects of the business. Get answers to all your questions and determine via the business plan whether the business is a sound one. Then you must negotiate the price and other terms of purchase and obtain appropriate financing. This can be a complicated process and may require the use of a consultant or business broker. Risky business. Running your own business may not be as easy as it sounds. Despite the many advantages of being your own boss, the risks are great as well. Over a period of 5 years, 50% of small businesses fail according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Businesses close down for many reasons, and not all are failures. Some businesses that close are financially successful and close for non-financial reasons. But the causes of business failure can be interrelated. For example, low sales and high expenses are often directly related to poor management. Some common causes of business closure are economic factors, business downturns, and high interest rates. Financial causes, inadequate capital, low cash balances, and high expenses. Lack of experience, inadequate business knowledge, management experience, and technical expertise. Personal reasons. The owners may decide to sell the business or move on to other opportunities. Inadequate early planning is often at the core of later business problems. A thorough feasibility analysis, from market assessment to financing, is critical to business success. Yet, even with the best plans, business conditions change and unexpected challenges arise. An entrepreneur may start a company based on a terrific new product, only to find that a larger firm with more marketing, financing, and distribution clout introduces a similar item. The stress of managing a business can also take its toll. The business can consume your whole life. Owners may find themselves in over their heads and unable to cope with the pressures of business operations, from the long hours to being the main decision maker. Even successful businesses have to deal with ongoing challenges. Growing too quickly can cause as many problems as sluggish sales. Growth can strain a company's finances when additional capital is required to fund expanding operations, from hiring additional staff to purchasing more raw material or equipment. Successful business owners must respond quickly and develop plans to manage its growth. So, how do you know when it is time to quit? Never give up may be a good motivational catchphrase, but it is not always good advice for a small business owner. Yet, some small business owners keep going no matter what the cost. For example, Ian White's company was trying to market a new kind of city map. White maxed out 11 credit cards and ran up more than $100,000 in debt after starting his company. He ultimately declared personal bankruptcy and was forced to find a job so that he could pay his bills. Maria Martz didn't realize her small business would become a casualty until she saw her tax return showing her company's losses in black and white for the second year in a row. It convinced her that enough was enough, and she gave up her gift basket business to become a full-time homemaker. But once the decision is made, it may be tough to stick to. I got calls from people asking, how come I wasn't in business anymore? It was tempting to say I'd make their basket, but I had to tell myself, it is finished now.
Concept check. 1. How can potential business owners find new business ideas? 2. Why is it important to develop a business plan? What should such a plan include? 3. What financing options do small business owners have? What risks do they face?
Five point five. Managing a small business. Learning objective. Why does managing a small business present special challenges for the owner?
Managing a small business is quite a challenge. Whether you start a business from scratch or buy an existing one, you must be able to keep it going. The small business owner must be ready to solve problems as they arise and move quickly if market conditions change.
Managing change. Learning how to pivot. Most small business owners either use, or at least know of, the iconic email service MailChimp, once an independent company with revenues reaching $800 million annually. It was acquired in 2021 by Intuit for $12 billion in cash and stock. Since the acquisition, the company has posted revenues nearing $1.3 billion, a significant increase over their previous performance. Former CEO and co-founder Ben Chestnut says it took MailChimp several years to figure out what it did well. When Chestnut was laid off from his job at the Cox Media Group in Atlanta, he founded Rocket Science Group, a web design firm. Co-founder Dan Kurzius, who taught himself to code, joined Chestnut, and they began to focus their sales efforts on tech companies. But when the tech bubble burst, they pivoted to focus on selling to airline and travel companies. Then 9/11 hit, and they needed to change focus again, this time on the real estate market. However, both Chestnut and Kurzius discovered they didn't enjoy sales, and they weren't very good at it. Nor did they like the bureaucracy of working with large companies. The only companies we could relate to were small businesses, and they always asked for email marketing. This insight helped Chestnut to recall a product feature the Rocket Science Group had previously developed for an email greeting card project. So Chestnut and Kurzius evaluated the marketing software and began to test it with small businesses. Our day jobs felt like going to these big organizations and pitching to them, and it was miserable, Chestnut says. But we really loved our nighttime jobs, which were helping the small businesses use this email marketing app. Their passion, along with market feedback, led to their decision to completely focus on email marketing for small businesses. But it wasn't until almost 2009 that MailChimp found its sweet spot. The founders initially wanted to give away one product that collected subscribers and then charge for another, which was sending emails, but it would have been very difficult to divide the product into two pieces. That's when they decided on positioning their services using the freemium business approach. Let's just make the whole thing free, said Chestnut. The idea was that if they made it cheap and easy for small businesses to try MailChimp, their business would grow, and they would be in a better position to pay for MailChimp services. MailChimp allows customers to send an email for free to up to 250 contacts at once with a limit of 500 emails per month. If businesses need more than this quantity, additional packages are available starting around just $13 per month. The idea quickly proved to be a huge success. MailChimp has over 11 million users globally as of 2024. The MailChimp founders learned a lot of lessons during their years in business. One of their most important lessons is knowing when to change. When you see an opportunity, don't be afraid to pivot and change course, especially if it means focusing on a market you're passionate about. Listening to market feedback and following their passion earned MailChimp's founders recognition as the best digital marketing platform in 2026 by Better Business Advice. Critical thinking questions. 1. What led MailChimp's founders to change its focus on the customers they were selling to? 2. What was MailChimp's big idea that changed the business? And why was it so successful?
A sound business plan is key to keeping the small business owner in touch with all areas of their business. Hiring, training, and managing employees is another important responsibility because the owner's role may change over time. As the company grows, others will make many of the day-to-day decisions, while the owner focuses on managing employees and planning for the firm's long-term success. The owner must constantly evaluate company performance and policies in light of changing market and economic conditions, and develop new policies as required. They must also nurture a continual flow of ideas to keep the business growing. The types of employees needed may change too as the firm grows. For instance, a larger firm may need more managerial talent and technical expertise. Using outside consultants. One way to ease the burden of managing a business is to hire outside consultants. Nearly all small businesses need a good certified public accountant, CPA, who can help with financial record keeping, decision making, and tax planning. An accountant who works closely with the owner to help the business grow is a valuable asset. An attorney who knows about small business law can provide legal advice and drop essential contracts and documents. Consultants in areas such as marketing, employee benefits, and insurance can be used on an as-needed basis. Outside directors with business experience are another way for small companies to get advice. Resources such as these free the small business owner to concentrate on medium and long-range planning and day-to-day operations. Some aspects of business can be outsourced or contracted out to specialists. Among the more common departments that use outsourcing are information technology, marketing, customer service, order fulfillment, payroll, and human resources. Hiring an outside company, in many cases another small business, can save money because the purchasing firm buys just the services it needs and makes no investment in additional human resources. Management should review outsourced functions as the business grows, because at some point, it may be more cost-effective to bring them in-house. Hiring and retaining employees. It is important to identify all the costs involved in hiring an employee to make sure your business can afford it. Recruiting, onboarding, training, and benefits can add as much as 10 to 15% to their salary. Hiring an employee may also mean more work for you in terms of training and management. It's a catch-22. To grow, you need to hire more people, but making the shift from solo worker to boss can be stressful. Attracting good employees is more difficult for a small firm, which may not be able to match the higher salaries, better benefits, and advancement potential offered by larger firms. Small companies need to be creative to attract the right employees and convince applicants to join their firm. Once they hire an employee, small business owners must make employee satisfaction a top priority in order to retain good people. A company culture that nurtures a comfortable environment for workers, flexible hours, employee benefit programs, opportunities to help make decisions, and a share in profits and ownership are some ways to do this. Business owners can create and implement employee-friendly policies to recruit and retain the best staff for the venture. Policies such as flexible scheduling, opportunities for advancement and leadership positions, profit-sharing programs, and benefits for employee personal development are tools that owners can use to attract the best workers. Offering these non-salary benefits does carry costs that must be considered, but the benefits can significantly outweigh these costs if the business owner has employees who are trustworthy, reliable, loyal, and help with realizing the goals of the organization. Going global with exporting. More and more small businesses are discovering the benefits of looking beyond the United States for market opportunities. The global marketplace represents a huge opportunity for U.S. businesses, both large and small. Small businesses' decision to export is driven by many factors, one of which is the desire for increased sales and higher profits. The price of U.S. goods to overseas buyers is impacted by the exchange rate of the U.S. dollar versus foreign currencies, so this can create opportunities for U.S. companies to sell globally. Additionally, economic conditions, both domestic and abroad, such as recessions, tariffs, foreign competition, political relations, or access to new markets, may encourage U.S. companies to consider exporting their products. Like any major business decision, exporting requires careful planning. Small businesses may hire international trade consultants or distributors to get started selling overseas. These specialists have the time, knowledge, and resources that most small businesses lack. Export trading companies, ETCs, buy goods at a discount from small businesses and resell them abroad. Export management companies, EMCs, act on a company's behalf. For fees of 1 to 5% of the value of the goods, they handle all aspects of exporting, including finding customers, billing, shipping, and helping the company comply with foreign regulations. Many online resources are also available to identify potential markets for your goods and services, as well as to decipher the complexities involved in preparing to sell in a foreign country. The Small Business Association's Office of International Trade has links to many valuable sites. The Department of Commerce offers services for small businesses that want to sell abroad. Contact its Trade Information Center, 1-800-USA-TRADE, or its Export Center at www.export.gov.
Concept check. 1. How does the small business owner's role change over time? 2. How does managing a small business contribute to its growth? 3. What are the benefits to small firms of doing business internationally, and what steps can small businesses take to explore their options?
5.6 Small Business, Large Impact. Learning Objective. What are the advantages and disadvantages facing owners of small businesses?
An uncertain economy has not stopped people from starting new companies. According to the Pew Research Center, over 85% of Americans view small businesses as a positive influence on life in the U.S. This is not surprising when you consider the many reasons why small businesses continue to thrive in the United States.
Independence and a better lifestyle. Large corporations no longer represent job security or offer the fast-track career opportunities they once did. Mid-career employees leave the corporate world, either voluntarily or as a result of downsizing, in search of the new opportunities that self-employment provides. Many new college and business school graduates shun the corporate world altogether to start their own companies or look for work in smaller firms.
Personal satisfaction from work. Many small business owners cite this as one of the primary reasons for starting their companies. They love what they do.
Best route to success. Business ownership can provide advancement opportunities for women and minorities. It also offers small business owners the potential for profit.
Rapidly changing technology. Technology advances and decreased costs provide individuals and small companies with the power to compete in industries that were formerly closed to them.
Major corporate restructuring and downsizing. These force many employees to look for other jobs or careers. They may also provide the opportunity to buy a business unit that a company no longer wants.
Outsourcing. As a result of downsizing, corporations may contract with outside firms for services they use to provide in-house. Outsourcing creates opportunities for smaller companies that offer these specialized goods and services.
Small businesses are resilient. They are able to respond fairly quickly to changing economic conditions by refocusing their operations.
There are several cities and regions that are regarded as the best locations for startup businesses and entrepreneurs. Among them are Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Overland Park, Kansas, Urban Honolulu, Hawaii, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, West Valley City, Utah, and Omaha, Nebraska. Why stay small? Owners of small businesses recognize that being small offers special advantages. Greater flexibility and an uncomplicated company structure allow small businesses to react more quickly to changing market forces. Innovative product ideas can be developed and brought to market more quickly, using fewer financial resources and personnel than would be needed in a larger company. and operating more efficiently keeps costs down as well. Small companies can also serve specialized markets that may not be cost-effective for large companies. Another feature is the ability to fill a market niche with unique products or services that are not widely found in the marketplace. This can create a client base that will bring customers back to the small business for the niche products or services, such as specialized restaurants or food carts, fitness facilities with targeted programs not found at larger gyms, small fashion boutiques offering one-of-a-kind clothing, or experience-based ventures, such as those that offer painting or craft classes. Divya Goenka noticed an underserved market in the retail clothing industry. Stylish and affordable options for extended sizes not offered in traditional outlets. In 2017, Goenka founded the Pink Moon in India. The goal was to provide modern styles coupled with a customer-centric focus to serve this market that is often overlooked. The company operates as a direct-to-consumer online business with in-house manufacturing. This feature allows the company to provide a wide variety of designs and collections that are tailored for different occasions. The Pink Moon prides itself on stellar customer service by following up with customers after each purchase to garner details about the fit and design of the garments. The company has 10 employees and generates nearly $400,000 in revenue annually. On the other hand, being small is not always an asset. The founders may have limited managerial skills or encounter difficulties obtaining adequate financing, potential obstacles to growing a company. Complying with federal regulations is also more expensive for small firms. Research indicates that nearly 70% of small businesses spend more on compliance per employee than do larger firms. Specifically, businesses with fewer than 5 employees spend around $10,000 per employee on compliance efforts, whereas larger businesses spend less than $1,500 per employee. In addition, starting and managing a small business requires a major commitment by the owner. Long hours, the need for owners to do much of the work themselves, and the stress of being personally responsible for the success of the business can take a toll. But managing your company's growing pains doesn't need to be a one-person job. 4 years after he started DrinkWorks, now Whirly DrinkWorks, a company that makes custom drinking cups, Richard Humphrey was logging 100-hour weeks. I was concerned that if I wasn't there every minute, the company would fall apart. Humphrey got sick, lost weight, and had his engagement fall apart. When forced by a family emergency to leave the company in the hands of his 5 employees, Humphrey was amazed at how well they managed in his absence. They stepped up to the plate, and it worked out, he says. After that, the whole company balanced out.
Concept check. 1. Why are small businesses becoming so popular? 2. Discuss the major advantages and disadvantages of small businesses.
.7 The Small Business Administration. Learning objective. How does the Small Business Administration help small businesses?
Many small business owners turn to the Small Business Administration, SBA, for assistance. The SBA's mission is to empower, advocate for, and assist small business owners. And through its national network of local offices, it helps people start and manage small businesses, advises them in the areas of finance and management, and helps them win federal contracts. Its toll-free number, 1-800-YOU-ASK-SBA, provides general information, and its website at www.sba.gov offers details on all its programs. Financial assistance programs. The SBA offers financial assistance to qualified small businesses that cannot obtain financing on reasonable terms through normal lending channels. This assistance takes the form of guarantees on loans made by private lenders. These loans can be used for most business purposes, including purchasing real estate, equipment, and materials. The SBA has been responsible for a significant amount of small business financing in the United States. In 2025, the SBA backed more than 84,000 small business loans for $44.8 billion. About 30% of the loan approvals were for woman-owned firms, and 11% were for minority-owned firms. Other SBA programs include assistance in finding investors, financing and assistance for firms that suffer economic harm after natural disasters, and government grants. The SBA also assists business owners in securing surety bonds, which are statements that guarantee that work will be completed. Some customers require such documentation before a contract is signed. More than 300 SBA-licensed small business investment companies provided about $4 billion in long-term financing for small businesses in 2024. The SBA's website suggests seeking angel investors and using SBA guaranteed loans as a way to fund the startup. These privately owned and managed investment companies hope to earn a substantial return on their investments as the small businesses grow. Scoring with management assistance programs. The SBA also provides a wide range of management advice. Its business guide section offers resources on most business topics, including information on how to start a wide variety of businesses, from ice cream stores to fish farms. Business development officers at the Office of Business Development and local small business development centers counsel many thousands of small business owners each year, offering advice, training, and educational programs. The SBA also offers free management consulting through two volunteer groups, the Service Corps of Retired Executives, SCORE, and the Special Resource Hub through SCORE specifically for veterans. Executives in these programs use their own business backgrounds to help small business owners. The SBA also has specialized programming through their network of partners to provide support and mentorship for women, minority, and veteran-owned businesses. SCORE has expanded its outreach into new markets by offering email counseling in a variety of formats, such as email, video, phone. Through its website, www.score.org. The SBA also offers free online resources and courses for small business owners and aspiring entrepreneurs in its Learning Center, located on the SBA website under the Learning Platform tab. Assistance for women and underrepresented groups. The SBA has been committed to helping women and minorities increase their business participation. It has offered a minority small business program, microloans, and the publication of Spanish-language informational materials. It has increased its responsiveness to small businesses by giving regional offices more decision authority and creating high-tech tools for grants, loan transactions, and eligibility reviews. The SBA offers special programs and support services for socially and economically disadvantaged persons, including women, Native Americans, and Hispanic people, through its Minority Business Development Agency. It also makes a special effort to help veterans go into business for themselves.
Concept check. 1. What is the Small Business Administration? SBA? 2. Describe the financial and management assistance programs offered by the SBA.
.8 Trends in entrepreneurship and small business ownership. Learning objectives. What trends are shaping entrepreneurship and small business ownership?
Entrepreneurship has changed since the heady days of the late 1990s, when starting a .com while still in college seemed a quick route to riches and stock options. Entrepreneurial opportunity comes from a variety of sources, including demographic changes, economic conditions, and technological advancements. Developments in areas such as AI and health tech represent a sector of growth potential for entrepreneurs. Additional emphasis is also being placed on ethics and sustainability. We have created a society in which we expect to have our problems taken care of, and the technological revolution stands ready with already developed solutions. Evolving social and demographic trends, combined with the challenge of operating in a fast-paced, technology-dominated business climate, are changing the face of entrepreneurship and small business ownership. Into the future. Startups drive the economy. Do new business ventures drive the economic recovery from recent recessions and economic downturns, and are they continuing to make significant contributions to the U.S. economy? Data show that small businesses facilitate economic recovery, small businesses significantly contribute to their local communities as well as to the overall economic health of the nation. Small businesses are responsible for job creation and are the foundation of economic resilience and growth. Numbers alone do not tell the whole story, however. Are these newly self-employed workers profiting from their ventures, or are they just biding their time during a period of unemployment? U.S. small businesses employed over 60 million people in 2023, representing nearly 47% of the workforce. Small businesses were responsible for 70% of the net new jobs added to the economy since 2019. A significant rate of growth is coming from woman-owned firms, with nearly 50% of all businesses started in 2024 being launched by women. This was a 69% increase since 2019. There were an estimated 12.8 million woman-owned businesses employing over 9 million people in 2025, generating more than $1.9 trillion in annual revenue. Between 2019 and 2023, woman-owned firms increased at a rate twice that of firms owned by men. From 2022 to 2023 specifically, that rate increased to nearly 5 times. Even during the COVID-19 pandemic, woman-owned businesses thrived, creating 1.4 million jobs and boasting revenues of nearly $600 billion. These trends show that more workers are striking out on their own and earning money doing it. It has become very clear that encouraging small business activity leads to continued, strong overall economic growth. Changing demographics create entrepreneurial diversity. The traditional view of retiring has evolved with individuals still being active in the workplace past the typical retirement age. The AARP predicts that older adult entrepreneurs will continue to rise in the coming years. As baby boomers look toward the future, many are likely to pursue selling the businesses they have spent years building. According to the SBA, there are over 12 million small businesses owned by baby boomers. This represents a unique buying opportunity for other generations. The supply of existing small businesses is larger than the demand, so entrepreneurial millennials and Gen Xers can take advantage of this position. Boomers are looking for someone to carry on the business legacy and could therefore be open to items such as seller financing. Gen Z leads the way in business startups, with nearly 25% of total entrepreneurial activity attributed to individuals between the ages of 18 and 24. The growing numbers of boomers working during retirement has prompted some forward thinking. Companies to recognize business opportunities in technology. At one time, there was a concern that the aging of the population would create a drag on the economy. Some baby boomers choose entrepreneurship to carry them through their retirement years. These businesses could be simply for fun or to pursue a passion they now have time for. The boomer generation has built sizable wealth, and data indicate that some in this generation use that wealth to start businesses. Minorities are also adding to the entrepreneurial mix. As we saw in Table 5.3, minority groups and women are increasing business ownership at a much faster rate than the national average. The increase in minority business ownership and the lack of funding through other sources prompted the SBA to help fill the gap. About 1/3 of all SBA-backed loans are with minority business owners. Data show that Latino-owned businesses surged by 35% between the years 2019 and 2024. Funding from venture capital firms for Latino-owned businesses was over $3 billion in 2024. How far will you go to get rich? With enough intelligence and determination, people can get rich almost anywhere in the United States. Whether you own chains of dry cleaners in Queens, car dealerships in Chicago, or oil wells in West Texas, fortunes have been made in every state in the Union. There are some places, however, where the chances of creating wealth are much greater than others. That is the reason why people who hope to strike it rich move to places such as Manhattan or Palo Alto. It's not because the cost of living is low or the quality of life as a struggling entrepreneur is fun. Whether starting a software or soft drink company, entrepreneurs tend to follow the money. But not all companies follow the herd. Guild, formerly Guild Education, founded in Denver in 2015 by Rachel Carlson and Brittany Stitch, briefly moved to San Francisco, but quickly left due to the high cost of living that could slow down the company's growth. We have a lot of women who are executives and department heads here, starting with myself and my co-founder, CEO Rachel Carlson said. So when we left, we deliberately chose a place where you can have a family. Guild's original mission was to help large employers in offering education and tuition reimbursement as a benefit to working-age adults that lacked a college degree. But their vision has now evolved beyond just college education/tuition reimbursement to broader career mobility services. Since moving back to Denver, Guild has raised over $650 million with a company valuation of $4.4 billion. The firm now has approximately 850 employees. We were joking that we're the polar opposite of Apple, said Carlson. Remember when the new mothership came out? Every single parent noticed that it had a huge gym, but not a daycare. According to Morningstar, the top regions in the United States for venture-backed deals in 2025 were the Bay Area, $94 billion, New York, $14.3 billion, and Los Angeles, $9.2 billion. Non-traditional funding sources are gaining traction with entrepreneurs. Options such as crowdfunding, grants, revenue-based financing, and community-backed investments offer entrepreneurs opportunities for access to funding without giving up part of their business, as would be the case with equity funding. In 2024, nearly $350 million was raised through crowdfunding. The top U.S. industries with the most deals in funding are healthcare, manufacturing, e-commerce, financial technologies, and robotics.
Concept check. 1. What significant trends are occurring in the small business arena? 2. How is entrepreneurial diversity impacting small business and the economy? 3. How do ethics impact decision-making with small business owners?
Preparing for tomorrow's workplace skills. 1. After working in software development with a major food company for 12 years, you are becoming impatient with corporate red tape, regulations, and routines. You have an idea for a new snack product for nutrition-conscious consumers and are thinking of starting your own company. What entrepreneurial characteristics do you need to succeed? What other factors should you consider before quitting your job? Working with a partner, choose one to be the entrepreneurial employee and one to play the role of their current boss. Develop notes for a script. The employee will focus on why this is a good idea, reasons they will succeed, and the employer might negotiate to convince them that staying on at the large company is a better idea. Then switch roles and repeat the discussion. 2. What does it really take to become an entrepreneur? Find out by interviewing a local entrepreneur or researching an entrepreneur you've read about in this chapter or in the business press. Get answers to the following questions, as well as any others you'd like to ask. How did you research the feasibility of your idea? How did you develop your vision for the company? How long did it take you to prepare your business plan? Where did you obtain financing for the company? Where did you learn the business skills you needed to run and grow the company? What are the most important entrepreneurial characteristics that helped you succeed? What were the biggest challenges you had to overcome? What are the most important lessons you learned by starting this company? What advice do you have for would-be entrepreneurs? 3. A small catering business in your city is for sale for $250,000. The company specializes in business luncheons and small social events. The owner has been running the business for 4 years and now wants to sell. You will need outside investors to help you purchase the business. Develop questions to ask the owner about the business and its prospects, as well as a list of documents you want to see. What other types of information would you need before making a decision to buy this company? Summarize your findings in a memo to a potential investor that explains the appeal of the business for you and how you plan to investigate the feasibility of the purchase. 4. Research various types of assistance available to women and minority business owners. Call or visit the nearest SBA office to find out what services and resources it offers. Contact trade associations such as the National Association of Women Business Owners, the U.S. Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and the U.S. Department of Commerce Minority Business Development Agency. Call these groups or use the internet to develop a list of their resources and how a small business owner could use them. 5. Do you have what it takes to be an entrepreneur or small business owner? You can find many online quizzes to help you figure this out. Psychology Today offers a quiz to determine whether you have an entrepreneurial mindset at www.psychologytoday.com. What did your results tell you, and were you surprised by what you learned? 6. Team activity. Your class decides to participate in a local business plan competition. Divide the class into small groups and choose one of the following ideas: a new computer game based on the stock market, a company with an innovative design for a skateboard, travel services for college and high school students. Prepare a detailed outline for the business plan, including the objectives for the business, and the types of information you would need to develop product, marketing, and financing strategies. Each group will then present its outline for the class to critique.
Ethics activity. As the owner of a small factory that makes plastic sheeting, you are constantly seeking ways to increase profits. As the new year begins, one of your goals is to find additional funds to offer annual productivity and/or merit bonuses to your loyal, hardworking employees. Then a letter from a large national manufacturer of shower curtains seems to provide an answer. As part of a new supplier diversity program it is putting in place, the manufacturer is offering substantial purchase contracts to minority-owned suppliers. Even though the letter clearly states that the business must be minority-owned to qualify for the program, you convince yourself to apply for it based on the fact that all your employees are members of racial or ethnic minorities. You justify your decision by deciding they will benefit from the increased revenue a larger contract will bring, some of which you plan to pass on to them in the form of bonuses later in the year. Using a web search tool, locate articles about this topic and then write responses to the following questions. Be sure to support your arguments and cite your sources. Ethical dilemma. Is it wrong for this business owner to apply for this program, even though it will end up benefiting the employees as well as the business?
Critical thinking case. Fostering entrepreneurship in innovation deserts. You may have heard of food deserts or internet deserts, those places where groceries or online access are difficult to come by. But certain communities fall into similar innovation deserts, where the population is cut off from educational, technical, and other resources connected to small business and entrepreneurial success. Often coinciding with economically distressed locations, innovation deserts force residents to look elsewhere for opportunities and support, causing a talent and economic drain that exacerbates the problem. Felicia Hatcher has committed herself to ridding communities of these deserts. A self-described C student in high school, she found creative ways to achieve and finance her education and early career. As a freshman at Lynn University, she launched a company focused on mentoring high school students. Upon graduating, she went on to lead social media campaigns for major brands such as Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, and Little Debbie. Soon after, she landed a major position with the Minnesota Lynx of the WNBA. She left it to start an ice cream company. That company, Feverish Gourmet Popsicles, went from a small food truck and cart operation to a venture capital-backed promotional partner to some of the biggest brands in the world. Her success and the financial resources it provided enabled Felicia to pivot once again. In 2012, Hatcher started Code Fever, an organization focused on teaching Miami residents how to integrate technical knowledge into their skill set. Soon after, Hatcher and her partners brought Black Girls Code to Miami and hosted numerous camps and events for local youth. In 2015, they started Black Tech Week to further the cause of creating inclusive innovation communities. The conference hosted several thousand attendees and some of the nation's top entrepreneurs, venture capitalists, educators, and tech professionals. The following year, Hatcher's organizations further expanded their entrepreneurship programs. They began a VC in Residence program to connect Black innovators with potential mentors and investors. Black Tech Week soon expanded from Miami to 8 other cities. Like many communities in South Florida, the Overton section of Miami was an innovation desert. Social mobility was relatively low, and potential entrepreneurs had few support networks or access to resources. Even though Miami was the nation's densest city for co-working spaces, seen as particularly helpful for startups, Overton didn't have one. Hatcher sought to directly fill the gap by opening a co-working space named A Space Called Tribe. The 2-story hub offers individuals or small companies low-cost access to Wi-Fi, office space, conference rooms, collaboration opportunities, and a wide array of workshops and guest speaker events. Even though members are from different companies serving different industries and customers, their shared experience can create networking and support relationships. The Space Called Tribe was rebranded into the Center for Black Innovation by Hatcher and her group. Felicia Hatcher left the day-to-day operations of the organization in 2021 to pursue other ventures. Beyond the services and events described above, the center works as a think tank and advocacy organization to further promote investment and innovation in the Black community and better help all marginalized communities. During the COVID-19 pandemic, they launched a number of educational programs to help those affected launch side hustles to supplement their income. The center also continues to serve as an incubator and capital investment networker to help people develop and scale their startups. And after helping thousands of business people, the center frequently collaborates with past participants to mentor new ones and continue the cycle of innovation. Critical thinking questions. 1. What qualities or characteristics might lead to the emergence of an innovation desert? Is it always a geographical definition, or could it be defined in other ways? 2. In her efforts to help marginalized people gain technical and business experience, how was Felicia Hatcher's progression similar to business growth and grand expansion? 3. How might A Space Called Tribe and the larger efforts of the Center for Black Innovation lead to opportunity for local entrepreneurs? This has been Introduction to Business, 2nd edition, from OpenStax. OpenStax textbooks and this free audiobook are covered under a Creative Commons license. The full text is available at www.openstax.org. You can find this free audiobook anywhere you listen to podcasts, including Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. Instructors can even download a course shell to easily embed these recordings in Canvas courses. Learn more by visiting www.openaudio.us. Did you find this audiobook helpful? If so, please let us know by leaving a comment and sharing this recording with a colleague or a friend.